think about this for a second. What if the best way to win the game was to just stop playing it altogether? Today, we're diving into this really powerful idea that kind of flips traditional business strategy on its head. It's called Blue Ocean Strategy, and it's all about how you can make your competition, well, completely irrelevant.
You know, every leader, every entrepreneur, they're all chasing that one brilliant strategy, right? But here's the crazy part, the paradox that honestly keeps people up at night. Most of those really well thought out strategies, they're actually destined to fail. So, what's going on here?
So check this out. This one number, it should pretty much stop any business leader in their tracks. Because this is the brutal reality of most business strategies.
Yep, less than 10%. That's the actual success rate for most strategies that get cooked up in the boardroom. And look, the problem isn't that the ideas are bad, not at all. It's this huge gap between the plan on paper and what happens in the real world, actually doing it. The execution, that is by far the toughest part of the whole game.
And these hurdles, oh man, they're gonna sound super familiar to anyone who's ever worked on a big project. You know the drill. Everything takes way longer than you planned, totally unexpected problems pop up out of nowhere, teams aren't talking to each other, and then, of course, something happens out in the world that throws a giant wrench in the works. It's like a minefield out there. So the big question is, how do you break out of that cycle, right? Well, this is where this whole idea comes into play. It's about a shift in thinking. We've got to stop thinking about the bloody battlefield and start picturing a wide-open, crystal-clear sea. See, most industries, most companies, they're operating in what the authors Chan Kim and Renee Maborn call red oceans. I mean, just picture a Shark Tank. It's this bloody, super crowded space where everyone is just tearing each other apart, fighting over the same small pool of customers. It's a total zero-sum game. And this is the core difference right here. A red ocean strategy is all about trying to beat your rivals in a market that already exists. But a blue ocean strategy? That's about making the competition totally irrelevant because you've created a brand new market space where there is no competition. It's like you're not just winning the game, you're inventing a whole new one for everyone else to try and play. Okay, that all sounds amazing in theory, right? But how do you actually do it? How do you go out and find these blue oceans? Well, the answer starts with a pretty fundamental shift in how you think about value itself. The engine driving this whole thing is something called value innovation. And here's the key insight. This is really important. It's not about making a trade-off, like, should we be different or should we be cheaper? No. It's about figuring out how to achieve both at the same time. When you do that, you create this massive leap in value, not just for your customers, but for your company too. And this idea is, it's pretty revolutionary because it just shatters one of the oldest rules in the business playbook. For decades, everyone just accepted this value-cost trade-off. You either offer more value and charge more, or you offer okay value for a lower price. Value innovation comes along and says, nope, scratch that. You can and you must do both. Let's make this real with a classic example. Nintendo. Think about it. While Sony and Microsoft were locked in this brutal red ocean war over who had the best graphics, Nintendo did something completely different. They used what's called the 4 actions framework. First, they eliminated things like super expensive industry conferences. Then they reduced their focus on raw graphic power and crazy budgets. At the same time, they raised their brand's appeal into totally new areas. And finally, they created brand new ways to play. Think motion controls, family fun, tapping into nostalgia, and bringing in millions of people who weren't hardcore gamers. See? They didn't try to beat Sony and Microsoft at their own game. They just made them irrelevant to this huge new audience. And that framework Nintendo used, that's just one piece of the puzzle. Blue ocean strategy isn't some happy accident. It's a really systematic, repeatable process. There's a whole toolkit designed to help you analyze your industry, reconstruct market boundaries, and find that uncontested space for yourself. Okay, so understanding the theory is great, but the real question is, how can you start using this kind of thinking right now? Without hiring a bunch of expensive consultants. Well, the answer might actually be sitting right there on your desktop. Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do you take these huge ideas and actually turn them into your next concrete move? The answer, and this is pretty cool, lies in combining this exact strategic framework with the power of modern AI. The technique to do this is called context-first prompting. So instead of just asking an AI a really generic question, you build a world for it. You give it all the context, the rules, the goals, and when you do that, you basically turn it from a simple search engine into a highly specialized strategic analyst that's working for you. And just look at the difference this makes. A lazy, low-effort prompt to give me ideas to beat my competition is just going to spit out generic red ocean answers. But a world-built prompt, now that directs the AI to think like a blue ocean strategist by telling it to analyze your specific industry and find things to eliminate, reduce, raise, and create. You're literally using the exact framework we just talked about to guide its thinking. It completely transforms the AI into this powerful engine for finding real, genuine value innovation. So think about it. The tools are here. The frameworks, they're proven to work, and the ability to actually use them is more accessible than it has ever been. So really, the only question left is, what are you going to do with it? Now, all these powerful principles we've been talking about, they come from the groundbreaking book Blue Ocean Strategy. For years, huge organizations all over the world have used this exact thinking to escape those bloody red oceans and find incredible new growth. And now, like we said, when you combine it with new tools, this whole way of thinking is more accessible than ever before. And really, that's the big takeaway here. Blue Ocean Strategy isn't about playing by the rules. It's about rewriting them completely. So the question I want to leave you with is this. What's that one accepted fact in your industry? The one thing everyone just assumes is true that's just waiting for you to come along and challenge it? Because that might just be your path to a wide open blue ocean.